celebrated on 8th April. Since this is going to be a longish affair, I'm told in some places they are doing it for a month. So we are doing it within a week of the event. So that was a special event, and it really, what people say, that this was a milestone event which brought all the Roma communities from world over, and it gave them a way to move forward together. And on that day, they had certain special initiatives which gave them their identity and also the linkages with India, like their flag, like their anthem. So now I would request Mr. Jamir, who is going to make an introductory statement about the event and also introduce the speakers. So Jamir, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, sir, and welcome to all the delegates and the guests. Actually, today we virtually gathered to mark the week-long celebration of First World Romani Congress.
Zamir, your sound is not clear. You have to be a little bit louder.
So we virtually gathered today here to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the First World Roma Congress that led to the celebration of World Roma Day every year on 8th of April. And it is quite obvious that Roma are subjected to different policies and regulations for centuries after they arrived in Europe. And First Roma Congress was a watershed in the historical history of political movement and national Roma community, as Ambassador Sajeva sir told. So, First Congress is important in a different sector. The first Congress has been actually that has paved the way for the transnational unification of the Roma community. And it is also, in Indian relations, it is also important because one of the representatives from India, W.R. Rishiji, at that time he was an attaché at the Indian High Commission in the United Kingdom. He played a pivotal role in inscribing the red wheel on red wheel that is also known as Ashoka Chakra and Dharma Chakra on to the.
The audio is still very no. You have to speak louder.
So Mr. Rishiji played a very important and pivotal role in inscribing the Dharma Chakra and Ashok Chakra onto the Romani flag. That flag depicts the historical and a strong relation with their motherland, India, as well as symbolizes the internal spiritual values and social and moral ideals of India. So I want to wind up here because we have guests like parliamentarian Vaiko Kaitazi ji and very shortly Jamal Bekele from the parliamentarian from Izmir, Turkey. He will also join us shortly. So I would like to welcome Sir.
No, I can't hear anything.
Vaiko Kaitazi ji, as well as Sir Mila Dragovic. She is the professor at the INALCO University, and she is the member of the research team of National Institute of Oriental Languages and Civilizations, Paris. And we have another important guest, Mr. Marco G. Dudson. He is also the chairman of the Educational Association of Roma in Hamburg, as well as director of Roma News Network. And very close friend of us, Mr. Ohen Galvez, who is also with us. He joined us. That's the president of Eurasian Academic Network. We have the official relation with this network, and we have another guest, Ms. Gilda Horvath. She possibly shortly she will also join us, and she will deliver the speech. And she is the project manager in the European Roma Institute for Art and Culture in Germany, Berlin. So we have six important guests who enlighten us and inform us with the significance of World Roma Day and the challenges, especially in the face of global pandemic, the COVID-19, that also posed enormous health and economic crisis to the world. And that pandemic also hit the Roma community severely and very harder. So we want to listen to our guest today. That's a very prominent and eminent and guest. And the professor now, the Gilda Horvath, she joined us. Now I would like to our Secretary General, Honorable Sam Parandelji, please, sir, deliver the welcome address, official welcome address. Sir, please.
Namaste. Namaste. Good evening. Namaste. Good evening and good afternoon to our brothers and sisters and relatives from the Roma community. I say many of them had visited us, and I greet the whole community on the completion of 50th anniversary of International Roma Day. We all know, though it was in London in 1971, that the Roma Union, International Roma Union, was established and a flag was designed. The event might be a smaller event to look at, with a couple of people gathering over there from UK and some parts of Europe. However, the event has galvanized the Roma community, giving them the confidence that they can be united. As everybody knows, the Roma community is spread across the globe. From Australia to Argentina, they're all over. And as the time passed, there are some more organizations working for Roma in various countries. And they need to be more organized, because the challenges are Himalayan, gigantic. Roman community which suffered for centuries in every possible way. Unless and until they are organized, unless and until they get educated, they get the education that's required, and more than that, they voice their problems on the international forums, there would not be a change. Despite that, I am glad to state that in last 50 years, many things have changed for Roma community. And one of that is the acceptance of their origin. The Roma community originated from India is being accepted now globally. Though they have a language which of course is closer to Indian languages and can be said, like Dr. Shyam Singh Shashi stated earlier also, they have many words from Sanskrit, Hindi, Punjabi, Rajasthani, and many other languages of Bharat, of India. And this has to be strengthened. There is lack of education. There is in some parts of the Roma community, they are poorer than the rest of the society. So all these challenges needs to be highlighted, and unitedly they can put up an organized way so that their voice is heard all over. We on our part from Antarrashtriya Sahyog Parishad and India would surely stand with them shoulder to shoulder and support their cause, connect them back to their original roots, and do whatever is possible. I thank you all that you have joined today to commemorate the 50th year of establishing a International Roma Union. And I look forward, as the proposal is moving, to meet you all in next April in Zagreb, Croatia, for celebrating 51 years of Roma International Roma Union, and then empower the movement, empower the Roma community further toward the betterment and towards a better connection with their country of origin, India. Thank you very much to be with us, and I welcome you all. That we'll have excellent discourses now, and I see all the speakers over here, and they are very well established people in their arenas, areas, and their countries. So I welcome you all. Namaste.
Thank you very much, sir, for your view on the historical relation with India. And Mr. Jamal Bekele is going to join. I just had a conversation with him, and he is the first speaker of this conference. So I just had a conversation. He is trying to log in. So within any moment, he will join. He will join our conference, and he will deliver the important speech. So before that,
can you be louder, please? I don't hear well. We need much more louder. Thank you.
sure.
Thank you. Mr. Zamir, can you move out of your seat and to some other place so that we get you better? We listen you better. Rajesh Sachdeva, can you carry on till then?
Yeah. So basically, I'm just trying to see whether our inaugural address speaker is around. I don't see him yet. So till then, should we move to the next speaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that case, we may have the inaugural address later, but we can start with our dear friend, Mr. Oran Gallius, President of the Eurasia Academic Network. And today's the topic of the whole webinar is basically the situation of Roma and the role of Roma International Romani Organization. So Mr. Gallius, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm here. Let me greet everyone who is at this Zoom conference. My cordial greetings to Professor Shashi, to Shamparande, to you, Sachdeva, to Ambassador Gupta, to Zamirji. I'm very happy to hear and to listen to you, and as well to see your faces. Recently, I have been here in Turkey. I'm at the airport of Istanbul. In Turkey, we have had very good, very big celebration of the Roma Day in city of Izmir. It is absolutely unusual in the history of Turkey to give such day, and recognition actually of Roma Day. Let me tell you that the head of the state, Erdogan Tayyip, has been signed a declaration recognizing Roma Day as a national holiday. And also in these days, I do remember as my uncle has been walked from London home to Kosovo, where he was attending the First World Congress in 1971 in London suburb. It was an incredible celebration when he came. He came as looked like a hero, where he used his word to address the world that we are not orphans of the world, that we have our country of origin, that we have our culture, we have our language, and we have our flag. So all these national elements make us proud. But even after 50 years, I can talk about dehumanization of the Romani populations around the world and especially in Europe. Why I'm speaking about this topic is that yes, of course, has been made a revolutionary step to organize International Romani Union and then to have a flourishing organization, projects, or whatsoever we have done for 50 years. And I would not absolutely make to forget that we Roma activists, we have made that Roma topic was absolutely something considerable to be on the agenda of European Union, of European Commission, and Council of Europe as well. I do know, and as you might remember, in 1978, Indira Gandhi was absolutely confirming that we have origin from the country that we came from, that migration went westward and we spread around of the world. We did not leave India with our will, with our wishes. We left India, you know what was the reason. And from that time, dehumanization of Roma still going on. Europe still has very strong right-wing governments. And I do believe that India can serve globally what could be harmonization of differences among cultures, among people. They have any background, religious background, cultural background, and so on. We do today very much confirming and very much looking for to have in-depth relation Roma and India. We have had very powerful, very good conferences, very good outcomes from the conferences as I was 2 years ago there. But I think now is the time that we have to speak about tangible results. We have to talk about real relationship among Roma and India in the sphere of culture, in the sphere of the linguistics, in the sphere of any academic work that has to be done. Because truth about the Roma still could not be. I'm sorry, now is announcement here from the airport information service.
Geçim işlemlerinin sırasında sosyal mesafenizi koruyarak uyarı ve bilgilendirmelere dikkat ediniz. Çocuklarınızı yanınızda.
So I will use this time to speak much more optimistic and in a celebrating mode. We have shown around of the world that the Roma Day could be something that would inspire us, that will bring us much closer, that we have to belong.
Thank you for your attention and understanding.
That we have to belong to a movement, a global movement for coexistence from people to people, from culture to culture, and so on. We have to mainstreamize our fight for coexistence, for mutual understanding, and for better political actions that I'm expecting from India and as well from us, Roma. In the end, I would not speak too much because having the situation that I'm at the airport, let me say that Mr. Shampandiji have had a very good document signed. One of the first documents between your institution and Eurasian Roma Academic Network. I am quite sure that in coming time would this mutual understanding document, MOU, we could a little bit make much more practical. We have to bring new minds, Roma minds and other minds to India, and we have to learn much more, much wider, and we have to find the ways how we can be continuously in contact. In Izmir, let me tell you also one good news. The mayor of Izmir, Mr. Tunç Soyer, has been granting Eurasian Roma Academic Network with a building where will be a future headquarters of the Eurasian Roma Academic Network. I'm recalling my friends, especially Professor Shashi and others, to use your archives to bring it to Europe among Roma. You know that in Turkey are 5 to 6 million Roma. From this very big mass of the citizens, we have to make equality citizens. We have to use citizenship as something that would spread to bring the real issues. What is the cause of Roma in Turkey and not only in Turkey? We have today many hundreds of Roma and non-Roma who are in the front to bring the change. And the change has to be together with India, with your institution, to make very good plans. We have to come to a field. Roma are expecting a support from such big, important country, from our brothers and sisters from India. I love you all, and I hope that in very near future we can make such conference that would affect in the field, in the way how we can build an academic mind, because academic mind is something that would perfectly catalyze mutual understanding about anyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Oran, for a very good speech. And congratulations for getting a building in Izmir. And we are very happy to hear from you the experiences of your uncle about the first World Romani Congress. And we take note of your suggestion of doing something more on academic culture front for cooperation with the Romani community in India. So we assure you that we'll be doing and we'll try to do much more and we'll come up to the expectations of our Roma brothers and sisters. Now I see that Mr. Kamel Beckley has joined us. So welcome, sir. Good evening, good afternoon. And we would very much like to hear your inaugural address. Please do deliver an inaugural address to celebrate the 50th anniversary of first World Roma Congress and World Roma Day. The floor is yours.
What happens?
Mr. Kamel Beckley?
Sir, he has to unmute himself. Mr. Kamel has to unmute himself, sir.
Mr. Kamel, please, the floor is yours. Can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Please welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me being meeting with all you guys. I have chance to listen Orhan Galyus, just a little part of his speech, and I'm sure he talked about it. In May, we would like to make a conference in Izmir for Roma problems and çözüm neydi Bayram? Çözüm önerileri. Problems and how we can fix the issue, how we can have solution about the problems. Also, you may heard about it, 8 April, our president, Mr. Erdogan, with his sign, now we can also I'm not sure I'm using right word, but we can also have celebrate Rome 8 April Rome's days as a properly way. And I hope at the meeting we may have chance to host you in Izmir, and we would like to see global vision of the Rome situation. And I may have to leave little earlier because of today's parliament open. We are working, and the part of my groups has to be there at after 1 o'clock, and they may call me anytime. If I had to leave meeting early, please forgive me, because Parliament is working today and it's our group's day. If I have to leave early, please forgive me. If any of our friends want to have any question for Turkey, I would like to answer it.
With the permission of the chair, I'm Amit Gupta. Am I allowed to ask a brief question, sir?
Yes, yes, Amit.
Thank you. The distinguished panelist has discussed about Turkey. Present situation in Turkey as far as the Romani community is concerned, sir. I'm talking about their social and economic conditions, sir.
Can you ask me again?
Hello, सचदेवा जी, can I speak to him? सचदेवा जी, मुझे बात कर सकता हूँ क्या इनसे? अरे सुनो भाई.
Anlayabiliyor musun?
Yeah, Dr. Shashi, let Mr. Kamal answer to Amit Gupta's question, please. First.
अच्छा ठीक है. Okay.
Okay.
Your Excellency, Mr. Bagal, could you answer to Mr. Amit Gupta's query about the Romas in Turkey, their conditions, and
will you ask it again, please?
Amit?
Sir, my query is, what is the present social and economic condition of Roma community in Turkey? I have a special emphasis on their economic conditions.
Okay. Okay. Economic position, Rome's people in Turkey, it's quite not different other part of the world. We have
Sir, we are unable to hear you.
5 solutions for Roman's problem in we see the problems about it. One is education, one is economic wise.
Roman people's jobs, young generation getting the education.
House, barınmanın İngilizce. Accommodation. Ayrımcılık. Discrimination mı?
Evet. Evet peki.
economic parts of that stratejik eylem belgesini getirseniz bana.
Let me help Cemal. Cemal, can you talk to me in English? I will translate for you.
In strategic documents, we have 5 different. We got 5 speech, and one is economic. We have economic problems as different parts of the world. It's not different. It's quite not different worlds exam. However, it's in the world, not different than worlds. And what we are you translating? What we done about with what we done with documents, we find the problems, we have economic problems, and we also give solutions about the economic problems.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Zaman. Basically, you are saying that the problems in Turkey are similar to what the Roma community is facing in rest of the Europe, and there are ways to resolve their problems, and there is a strategic framework, EU strategic framework for Roma. So I think that's what you're touching upon.
Orhan, can you hear me?
Yes, I do. I do hear you. Dinliyorum seni, evet. Buyurun.
Stratejik belgede 5 ayrı bölüm var. Ekonomik, sağlık ve barınma problemi ortada.
Anladım.
Türkiye'de yaşayan Romanların ekonomik durumu dünyadaki diğer Romanların ekonomik durumundan çok farklı olduğunu düşünüyorum.
Evet. Let me translate what my brother Cemal speaks. As you saw, he was showing a strategic document that has been issued by his party. And he speaks about the 5 elements that the strategic document consists. So it is education, housing, discrimination, and employment. And what else?
Koyuyoruz.
Duymuyorum.
Yoksulluk döngüsünü oluşturan
Evet.
bunun da belirtiyorum.
So as much I hear, he speaks about the poverty, and the issue of the poverty is very similar to the issues of the poverty in other countries where Roma resides.
In this,
No?
With this document, we find out what is the why Romanlar neden istihdama ulaşamıyor. Onu belirliyoruz.
Why people are not employed? We figure out why people are not.
Also, they are working on issues why the Roma people are not employed. This is a very important field that they are working on.
Sosyal güvencelik neden yok? Onları belirliyoruz. Bunun altında yatan belirliyoruz.
Why don't they have social security?
So they try to figure out why they don't have a social security in the country. We try to figure out dynamics and to fix them as well.
İş gücü piyasasına girişleri kolaylaştırmak için nitelikli ve güvenceli işlerde istihdamını arttırmak için ortaya projeler koyuyoruz.
We are trying to establish various projects
trying to help them to
and we are trying
qualify.
to help them and as well to qualify the Romani people in the country.
And we're trying to work on
And we
employment.
are trying to work on employment issues as well, to employ Roma people.
Mesleki niteliklerini ve becerilerini geliştirmesi ve iş gücü piyasasına eşit katılması için
Skills to be qualified employers.
So we are trying to help them to have a higher qualifying skills that they can be employed within various companies.
bana göre burada yaptığımız en önemli iş nedir biliyor musunuz?
The most important thing we do here
The most important thing to be heard here is
oluşturulan bu politikalar romanların içinde olmadığı, romanlara rağmen yapılan politikalardı.
all those politics
were not included Roma before. So before Roma were not included in the politics of helping Romani people in Turkey before.
Bu defa
Ne skrati malo jer nemamo vremena.
dernek başkanı
Cemal, onlar diyorlar şimdi Belko Kaytası geldi ve diyor ki yok vaktimiz. There was a comment from Belko Kaytasi that there is not enough time to listen to Cemal.
Okay, have a nice day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh my God,
Thank
he's
you very
angry.
much, Mr. Kamal, and thank you very much, Oran, for translating it for us. Now, at least now we know that his party has a lot of plans to improve the situation of Roma in Turkey. He listed out some of the problems and the way forward to overcome these problems. Thank you very much. Now we move to the next speaker, and the next speaker is Mr. Marco D. Knudsen, who is the Chairman, Educational Association of the Roma in Hamburg. So Marco, the floor is yours.
Orhan, daj molim te reci jer imajući u vidu da sam ja dobio plan i ja sam vidio da sam ja negde i ja sam planirao isto svoje aktivnosti, napustio sam parlament da budem s njima i sad na kraju ne znam kad ću biti, ali da molim jer mog asistent će ostati, a ja moram otići. Molim te reci.
I am in kind of a role translating from Veljko Kajtazi, who said that he specially made time for the conference, and that was unpleasantly looking to Cemal like losing time, because Veljko is also deputy, and he already has very specific time frame to be at the conference.
So would you like to take the floor and say something, Mr.
Veljko, da li hoćeš nešto više da govoriš?
Ja nisam uopće ništa ni rekao.
Ok, evo ti prevodioc, ja mislim da će da ti Emir pomogne sad.
Ok, Emire, reci da sam ja u samom početku mislio da samo vidimo da to radi. Da je to moje bilo javljanje.
Because of this time frames that people came to conference.
I will try to translate for Mr. Katazi now. He was looking at the time frame he got on the email, and he thought he would speak a little bit before Orhan. So he has some meetings planned, and he's asking to address you very briefly now, if it's possible.
So now I didn't get it. Is basically Mr. Who would
No
like to
problem.
speak now?
The gentleman can speak before me.
Okay, okay.
Ok,
Thank you.
može. Se čujemo svi, molim vas da se čujemo.
Yes, Mr. Katazi
Mr.
is
Velkovic.
checking if
Floor
you
is
can
yours.
hear him
Mr.
well. He would
Markovic,
like to
please
speak
after
for 5 minutes if it's possible.
Evo, super,
Yeah,
evo,
sure, Mr. Velkovic.
evo, namaste, la čođive, bud bak sa stipe, taj la čipe. Ok, evo na samom početku pozdravljam sve prisutne i ja ću nastojati da budem što moguće kraće, imajući u vidu da moj asistent zajedno imamo 10 minuta.
I will try to be very brief since I only have 10 more minutes left, so I would like to address you now.
Evo, koristim priliku da se zahvalim na pozivu da budem sudionik ove zajedničke online konferencije.
I thank you all for inviting me to participate in this conference.
Ja bi se složio sa mojim prethodnicima i sa mojim kolegom parlamentarcem kao i sa mojim prijateljem Orhanom da su Romi zapostavljeni u cijelom svijetu, a posebno u Europi ne godinu i dve, nego 700 godina.
I would like to agree with all speakers that spoke before me that Roma are neglected and especially in Europe, and this is not a problem that is lasting for a few years, but for the last 700 years in Europe.
O položaju Roma se govori od 1990. a isto tako o obilježavanju Svjetskog dana Roma počelo isto tako od osamostaljenja, odnosno od srušenja Berlinskog zida. Ne, od 90. Emilije. Ok. Kažem, od osamostaljenja došlo je do obilježavanja Svjetskog dana Roma i kao o položaju pripadnika romske zajednice. Hrvatske, da, pa i Evrope isto tako.
The markings of the World of Roma began in Croatia since its independence, which correlates with the fall of Berlin Wall in Europe.
Za one koji ne znaju, ovo mi je 4. mandat u parlamentu Republike Hrvatske, osim Roma zastupam još 11 nacionalnih manjina. A sve zajedno imamo 22 nacionalne manjine.
This is currently my 4th mandate in the Croatian parliament, and besides the Roma, I also represent 11 other national minorities, and we have 22 national minorities recognized by the Constitution of Croatia.
Unatrag 11 godina Romi u Hrvatskoj obilježavaju Svjetski dan Roma na najvećoj razini u institucijama, u parlamentu i u institucijama koji su jako bitni za romsku zajednicu.
We have been marking the World Day of Roma for the last 11 years in the Croatian institutions, institutions like Croatian parliament and similar on the highest level.
Romi, osim Svjetskog dana Roma, inicijatori su i predlagatelji još 2 značajna datuma za Rome, a to je Međunarodni dan sjećanja na stradalih Roma za vrijeme Drugog svjetskog rata Samudaripen Pen i Svjetski dan romskog jezika koji mi obilježavamo 5. studenog.
We are also initiators and we mark the 2nd of August Remembrance Day for the Roma victims of genocide in the Second World War, and also the 5th of November, which is the World Day of Romani language.
Što znači Romi imaju 3 značajna datuma za obilježavanje. Između ostalog, radili smo na tome i lobirali smo da i UNESCO prizna Svjetski dan romskog jezika kao kulturna baština Roma.
Which means that we Roma have 3 important dates which we mark annually, and also we work to have a World of Romani language recognized by UNESCO, which we also succeeded.
O problemima Roma ne želim pričati ništa, zato što su problemi Roma kako u Europi, tako i u svijetu potpuno su identični.
And I don't want to speak especially about the problems of Roma since they are very similar in Croatia and in all the world.
Znači, po pitanju obrazovanja, stanovanja, zapošljavanja, socijalna pitanja i zdravlje.
So these areas are education, social welfare, also living conditions and health.
Drago mi je da je upravo malo pre upravo najavio Emire, kako se zove ovaj naš Ramanda, lijep, najavio da ćemo mi u Hrvatskoj iduće godine organizirati međunarodnu konferenciju Roma skupa sa nevladine organizacije Vlade Indije, Veleposlanstvo Republike Indije u Zagrebu, Savez Roma Kalisara i ja.
I'm very glad that it has already been mentioned by Mr. Parande that we will have a large scale international event in 2022 in Zagreb, Croatia, with the marking of the World Day of Roma.
Mi smo već krenuli u jake pripreme i nadamo se, oni koji nas dobro znaju da na kojoj razini mi to dižemo i na kojoj razini mi to organiziramo. Između ostalog upoznao sam i premijera Vlade Republike Hrvatske kad je u pitanju međunarodna konferencija koju ćemo mi organizirati u samom Zagrebu.
We already started to work on it. Those who are familiar with our work, you know that we do it on a very high level. And I also had a chance to inform our Prime Minister of Croatia, about this conference that will take place.
O našoj samoj organizaciji, evo koristim priliku da pozdravljam i svoju sestru Šaši Bala, koja jako dobro zna, kao i naš brat Paranda, koji su bili u Zagrebu i znaju na kojoj razini mi to organiziramo i na kojoj razini nam dolaze upravo gosti, znači od ureda predsjednika, vlade i parlamenta.
I'm glad to have a chance to greet also my sister Professor Sashi Bala, who was with Mr. Parande with us in Croatia, and they are very familiar with our work and how we organize everything on the highest level with the presence of the government offices, presence of the office of the President of Croatia and so on.
Pošto nećemo imati puno vremena, za sve informacije što god vam treba ili ako hoćete malo više da saznate o našem radu, molim vas, ja sam vam dostupan sam vam na mailu i možete za sva pitanja i što god vam treba možete poslati. Ja ću kasnije napisati svoj mail i pokazat ću vam i oni koji su zainteresirani mogu ga napisati tako. Ovi koji me razumiju mogu ga već sad napisati, kao što je Nezir, Mila, Marko i svi oni ostali koji razumiju jezik koji ja govorim. Znači veljko.kajtazi@sabor.hr. To je znači moj mail i ja sam dostupan za sve ono ostalo. Ono što bi Emire prevedi.
Since I don't want to take up too much time, everyone that wants to know more details about this event and our work can email me. I wrote Mr. Kajtazi's mail into the chat, so all of you can copy-paste it.
Emire, diktiraj moj mail na engleskom, molim te. Ok, dobro, reci. I ono što želim još nešto, ja molim da za bolju komunikaciju koristimo mail, jer neko priča, reci Emire. Neko priča, reci da ne priča Emire. Ne čujemo se. Neko priča, reci Emire.
Sorry, somebody is speaking at the same time, so.
Ja, und vor allem, es war damals auch diese, wir brauchen Arbeitskräfte.
Miss Emanuela will, yeah, okay, now it will be.
Ok, dobro, hvala, thank you. Ono što sam htio reći, za bolju komunikaciju, molim vas da koristimo mail, inače preko video Zooma, preko video linka bit će jako teško uspostaviti vezu. Molim vas, na moj mail koji sam vam dostavio malo pre, možete poslati adrese tako da bi mi mogli uspostaviti komunikaciju, jer treba će nam vaš CV, odnosno životopis, jer bez životopisa i bez CV-a bit će jako teško poslati adrese i pozivati u Zagrebu na međunarodnu konferenciju.
So Mr. Kaitazi is asking everybody to contact him through email and to share their contacts, also the CVs if it's possible, so because it will help us to prepare the conference.
Reci Emire da nisu to moji kriterije, to je meni rekao veleposlanik Indije u Zagrebu.
So this is also agreed with the Embassy of India in Zagreb to do it this way.
Evo, hvala vam puno. Ako ima neko kratko pitanje, može, ali ako ne, možete mi poslati u mailu i ja ću vas napustiti i ostaće moj asistent gospodin Emir Grbić i on će meni prenijeti dalje. Samo ako ima neko kratko pitanje, ja ću sačekati.
If anyone has any questions, I will be glad to answer it. And soon after that, I will have to leave, and my assistant will be present, and he will share everything that was said later on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaitazi. And we look forward to the conference. Thank you for sharing your thoughts of the situation of Romas in Croatia. And we look forward to the conference, and I'm sure others will get in touch with you about the details of the conference. Now, I would move to the next speaker, Mr.
Okay.
Marco. And Mr. Marco, thank you for your understanding, and I'm sorry for keeping you waiting for some time. Hi, Mr. Kaitazi. Mr. Marco, the floor is yours.
Namaste, India, from Hamburg, Germany. Let me honor one person without whom we didn't have any Roma Day today. It was Professor Dr. Ian Hancock from the University of Texas. Without him, we wouldn't have today the celebration of the 8th of April, because he was the person that established this date through the United Nations and his work in the United States. So I was asked to give a short presentation on international Romani organizations and current status. Let me start with the first Congress that happened in 1933. It was in Łódź, Poland. It was the first Roma World Congress in the year 1933, and the follow-up Congress didn't happen anymore because of the Nazi Germany's war in the whole world. And since then, there was no other meeting of Roma until the International Romani Union was founded in 1971 in London. This was the first Roma international meeting after the Second World War. In the year 1989, the Roma National Congress was founded. The Roma National Congress was basically founded like the African National Congress of Nelson Mandela. It was created mainly to fight for human and civil rights in Europe, and it's existing today, the same as the IDO. The IDO was a little bit difficult in the last years because of the fact that we had several presidents and several organizational structures of the same structure. Is everything fine? Do you hear me? Okay, I continue. In the early 2000 years, the Finnish President Tarja Halonen started an initiative in the Council of Europe. In the Council of Europe, there are organized more than 50 countries, not just the European Union, mainly all of Europe and also the former Soviet states on European territory. And also the United States and Canada are involved in this structure. So the basic idea behind this was to create a European democratic Roma parliament within the Council of Europe with an associated contract. The sad result was that all international Roma structures went into the European Roma and Travelers Forum. And finally, all international Roma work through the International Romani Union and the Roma National Congress, who always work like in a healthy democratic, like a government and the opposite, the opposition. These structures are died out and dried out completely. The European Traveler and the European Roma and Traveler Forum in Strasbourg was in fact a good idea, but it was completely underfinanced. So it had no really a chance to participate in a state role with the other member states within the Council of Europe. Since 3 years, European Roma Travelers Forum are. Do you hear me? Gut, Gilda, ich habe dich gesehen.
Marco, we hear, please.
Good. My telephone told me bad connection.
No.
Finally, the European Roma and Traveler Forum didn't meet anymore in the last 5 years because they don't even have money anymore to invite for an annual meeting of the members. So the international Romani structures are dead. This is my experience, and we don't have any structure that is not influenced by any government. So we had often that the International Romani Union was also utilized by member states, especially of member states who had really huge anti-Zyganistic, racistic issues in their own country. So they used the ERU as a cover-up for good Roma policies, and finally it didn't change anything. And this is the situation we are in since the existing 50 years of Roma civil rights movement and nation building, starting in 1971 with the flag and the hymn, the national anthem, was in fact not effective. The only thing we achieved as a nation in a nation building process in the last 50 years was this flag and this national anthem. There is no solidarity between the Romani groups even in the countries. It's like their solidarity ends with out of their clan or their caste, and this is the basic problem we are facing. Mainly, two issues are our basic problems in the whole world, but mainly in Europe and in countries where Europe colonized, except the African continent. And these problems are that we don't know anything about us. Yeah, the problem starts when we start to call, even if we start to call ourselves gypsies instead of Roma. And our people don't know their history. We don't have any medias. We don't have special roles in school so that we can influence the school agendas. And through this problem is that we don't have any positive identity. Yeah. The only identity that are always projected on us is the framework of the anti-Zyganistic, anti-Gypsyistic pictures the European nations have about us. And through their racism, they always try to explain us. And this is mainly the status of the European international Romani organizations. One good thing came out of the whole initiative of the European Roma Forum. This was the Charter on the Rights of the Romani people. This is a complete document of 30 articles that was really democratically developed and worked out by the parliamentary of the European Roma and Traveler Forum. So this is the only official document by the international Romani community, the Charter of the Rights of the Romani people. And this document is quite complete in reciting our current status and with the demands we have toward the majority society. To be honest to you, the 8th of April was never really a date I was celebrating, because I was seeing it like a cultural day. I'm more a political activist, so for me there are two other dates much more important. The first is the 16th of May, where in 1940 the first deportations under the Nazis in Germany started in Hamburg, Schleswig-Holstein and Niedersachsen. Even before the Jewish population was deported, the Roma were deported. And the second issue on the 16th of May was that it was the only resistance in a concentration camp that is recorded by Roma. And it was in Auschwitz-Birkenau, in the Gypsy Camp B2, that Roma stand up and fight it for their survival. And sadly, they lost. The Nazis beaten down the search. So this is a very important day for us, the 16th of May, because it shows our first deportations and our resistance. And the other second day is very important because also Zeikon named it. It's the 2nd of August. The 2nd of August was adopted by the European Parliament as the International Holocaust Remembrance Day all over the European Union. So the problem is that most of the member states and regions don't even know about it. So it's the lobby work the Roma have to do to get this basic legal bindings transported to the national and local politics so that they can take over their responsibility. India. I'm very, very happy that finally there will be and there is exchange of intellectual heads who want to improve the situation of Roma in Europe, together, hand in hand with us in Europe and in India. India is the only country that will ever be able to raise our issues and problems towards the European Union. And this would be one of the most important issues, that we get through the Foreign Ministry of India the information out to the European countries and bilateral talks with all countries, that like Germany is doing it with China. When they meet with China, they also speak about the human rights issues they have in China. So it's the obligation for India to ask for the human and civil rights situation of the Romani people in Europe when they have talks with the European Union. And this is the only thing that's really bringing changes. We know this because this was the work the Roma National Congress was doing. The Roma National Congress worked under the principle, if one organization has a problem or an issue, that all member organizations have the same issue. So, for example, one organization in Germany had an issue with the German government, so they can activate the Roma National Congress network. And all over the world, member organizations of the Roma National Congress would write to the German embassy in their countries. So the feedback goes back through their embassy to the foreign minister of Germany. So what is going on with the Roma there? So, and this is the only thing the only possibility we have that things start to move, that we get politics in motion. Let me give one shout out to my friends I recognized in the meeting. Halda, hi Gruya, hi Orhan. I hope you're all well. And one more sentence maybe on Turkey. We have a special situation in Turkey. because of one fact. We are not the number one hated minority in Turkey. It's the Kurds. Yeah. So maybe Turkey can make a bridge between the European Union and Europe and India as an already Eurasian country that is not having such kind of huge problems and discriminational issues with Roma as countries within the European Union. In the European Union, we have Roma ghettos that are like third world ghettos. In India or in Africa, we have people that are living on east hills, that are living from waste, and our problem for sure is on the one side the missing education, but the missing education is not coming through us. The missing education is coming through the exclusion of Roma in the majority societies, because they don't want to include the gypsy people that are combined with a lot of prejudice, also with fear from the Islam. Yeah, it's like a kind of Islamophobia that moves into the anti-Tsiganism that is practiced in Europe. This is maybe an historical reason because we came with the Ottoman Empire on the European continent. And one of the historical prejudices is that we are spies of the Turks. So this is basically our situation. And I'm very sad to say that the international organizations are dead and not working. They don't have structures. They don't. Many of them are not really democratically. They're always the same people in the seats of these organizations, and the qualification of these leaders we have is also very questionable. So let me thank you again for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you, and to see you all one day in person. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Marco, for sharing the situation of the Roma community as you see, and also sharing with us very factual position as you see vis-a-vis the Romani organization, international as well as national organizations. And yes, we are aware of the days which you had mentioned. Though today we are celebrating the 50th anniversary, but this is the right time, as you correctly say, that we need to critically reflect on the things which happened in the past and whether they have improved or they are going down. As you say that there are somewhere it is status quo, in some cases things are going bad. So thank you for sharing these.
Let me give you one more information. Let me give you one more information. I didn't include it especially into my presentation, but there is a new initiative I started for a direct virtual online democracy for Roma people. And this will be founded on the 16th of May this year. And this organization will exist for 10 years and try to establish a basic democratic virtual Roma democracy. In fact, to create the first nation, the first transnational nation without a country. And through this process, try to get a foot into the international institutions to have an own voice.
Thank you for sharing this information, and we really welcome such an initiative. And we are happy to hear from you the role which India can play in bridging the problems or the challenges which you face, how we can be helpful in that. We will pass on these inputs to the relevant agencies. Thank you. Now we move to the next speaker, which is Professor Dr. Mila Dragovic.
Hello?
Yes, Hello? Dr. Mila Dragovic.
Hello.
The floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, please.
I would like to greet you all from Paris. And in order to save your precious time, I prepared a 5-6 minutes PowerPoint presentation that I will share with you. Just the time to open the document, please. I'm sorry, just a second. Okay. Is it right to see my PowerPoint? Hello?
Yes,
Yes?
yes, we are able to see your PowerPoint presentation.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have a problem. Excuse me. I'll start it again. I'm really sorry. I'm not very. Can you help me find the document?
You can go to the file option. You can go to the file option. Choose open and share.
Open.
Open and share. Then it will ask for the document from where you can upload the document.
Is it all right now?
Yes, you go to the file option on the upper panel, choose open and share option in down menu. Then it will ask for the source from where you want to upload the document.
Yes, Zamir.
Otherwise, you can send me. I will share it.
No, I just can you please give me the instructions again, please? Because what I see is my face on the screen. So
there is the option file, edit, share, view. There are the number of options. You have to choose file option.
I can't hear you, Zamir.
You can choose the file option.
Okay.
Go to the file option, click the file, then you will have the down menu. From the down menu, you can choose the open and share option. If you click at the file, you will get the option open and share. That is at the first.
Okay,
Yeah, so okay, but
and then you click at the open and share.
I can't hear you, Zamir. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You can click at the open and share option.
Oh, yes.
Then it will ask for
wouldn't go off.
Yeah.
Oh, open and share.
Yeah. Click at the open and share. And then you select the document.
I'm selecting the document now. Thank you, Zamir. Oh, my computer can, the main thing is, do you see the document I'm showing?
Not at present, we don't see the document.
Oh, it's charging. I'm sorry. It is. Oh. Zamir, do you remember the problems that we had when you connected in last November in Paris? This is our technical.
Right.
But anyhow, I'm really glad to be with you. But I prepared to talk while showing the diapositives.
Otherwise, you can send me the document, email me the document.
Zamir, I can't hear you.
You can email me your document. I will share your document, your presentation.
Ah, okay. Okay, but in that way, in order not to waste time, while I send it to you, I'll take it from another computer. You can give the word to somebody else, and I will speak after.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do that. Now the next speaker is Ms. Gelda Huer from the, she is the member project manager, European Roma Institute for Arts and Culture. So Ms. Gelda Huer, the floor is yours. Ms. Gelda? Are you there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm there,
The
and
floor
I'm
is yours.
yeah, you can hear me. Thank you. So first, I want to say thank you to all the people who are here today and who care about the cause of the Romani people all around the world. So thank you. I'm very honored to be invited and to speak to you today. I will not take it so long. And as my colleagues already explained a lot the situations on the national level, I will dedicate the words that I am allowed to speak here to the future and to a global future vision, and why it is important to have such a future global vision for the Romani people, but not only for the Romani people, for all the peoples out there in the world, all around the globe. So 50 years of movement, what does that mean to me personally? For me, that means that we have another 50 years of work ahead of us. And after that, we have another 50 years of work of us. So to all my colleagues, my beloved colleagues, Marko Knudsen, Orhan Galush, all that I heard today, don't be impatient with our people. History has shown that we are maybe the most resilient people of all around the world. And I want to focus a little bit on what's the positive sides of the Romani community if we have a look at it on the global level. We received a lot from our ancestors. In many countries, we have been persecuted. Everybody knows what the word Holocaust actually means. But look at us. We are still here today. And the Romani peoples not only survived everything that happened to them in history, but we learned how to go through big crises. We learned how to go through the big struggles. We learned how to survive every kind of crisis during history. So I think this is the legacy that our ancestors left to us. And this is the ground that the new generation today is fighting on. We have everything that our ancestors gave us. That's resilience. That's being fearless. That's being immune to authoritarian thoughts. That's having freedom as the highest value in Romani culture without ever questioning it in any way. If we talk about problems, then I have to say that politics and media put the frames for how we perceive reality. If we talk about poverty, this is not a Roma problem. This is a global problem. If we talk about racism, this is not a Roma problem. This is a global problem. If we talk about the non-solidarity in between a certain nation, definitely not a Roma problem. It's a global problem. And if we talk about the not political participation, again, a global problem. If you look at Germany, not even 50% of the German people participate in European elections. So all of these problems that we were talking about are not Roma problems. These are global challenges that we have to face together, every nation and all the people all around the world. So everything that we think of in national frames is so yesterday. The future generations, although we still have borders in theory, we don't have them anymore on a global level. We have different kind of networks. And for the future, this means that we will focus on connecting via a new thing, the nations. It's values. It's the values connecting us. I will not connect and support people of the Romani community if they don't apply to the value of freedom, of democracy, of equality for everyone. So how are we going to work in the future? We will connect with other people that share the same values as we do. We don't need our own table for Romani rights. We have global human rights that should be valid for every people in all countries all around the world. Orhan and Marco already have mentioned that national politics are here to segregate people. Just one very small example. We have a conference about Islamophobia. We have one conference about racism. We have another conference about anti-Ziganism. But the truth is, that's all the same thing. Politics just don't want to have a global approach to it because it's much easier to keep people under oppression if you segregate the topics. So this is not a question of a Roma problem, because already if you refer to people as a problem, you can see what's behind of it. It's about power structures. It's about who is in power and it's about who is not in power. Nowadays, power structures are defined via the value of economic power. And we all know that Romani people are mainly not on the very top of having economic power in this world. So I'm coming to the point where we connect to the possible support of India in this case. India is definitely one of the most powerful economic forces of the future. You know how to do IT. You understood that coding is the alphabet of the future. You understood that you need to give people jobs in order to give them financial, but also moral power in this society. So if we want to have a certain level of equality, let's stop about talking national frames. Let's stop about talking the poverty of only Romani people. Poverty is a global challenge. And India is one of those economies who will really have a very heavy word in the future on the global market. So this is where we need to connect, because one thing is sure. Even if you go to the European Union and provide them the perfect solution in order to make all people equally financially powerful, they would not take it because it's a kind of structure that keeps people in their oppressed position, whatever they do. If you're Roma, if you're academic, nowadays, it doesn't matter. You're still not accepted. So it's not about the Romani people and how many are educated, how many are intellectual, because they will never be accepted just for the one reason that power is the most important value of politics. If we look at the most powerful movements in history, Martin Luther King, he had no structures. He had a very powerful thought that was leading the people. Look at Gandhi. He didn't start with building up interesting structures. He was carrying a big vision that people could share. And the last point in my speech, and then I will stop. We, the Romani activists, tried too long to impress politics. Our cause must be today to impress our own people, to make them believe and to make them see that there is people really caring about the future situation, not only of Roma, but about the situation and development of humanity and the future values on the globe, determining how societies will go on this globe. Today is the point where we have to choose between capitalistic values or our basic human rights. Thanks a lot.
Please kindly unmute.
Oh. Thank you very much, Ms. Gilda, for a excellent presentation, which was from a different lens, because so far we had been always hearing about the problem and challenges, but you had taken it from the other side about the positives. And it is good to learn that yes, the Romani community has survived for so many centuries with all the problems, which is a good demonstration of their resilience, their freedom, and other important characteristics which the community has. And you have also touched upon the need how we can connect with the Roma community and how we can work together, maybe in skill development, maybe creating, showing them the ways to find jobs through skills. We do have a lot of programs which we offer to international community. So Romas could avail of that through our embassies. So it was a good presentation, and we have to look at future vision, and you gave some thoughts on that. So we need to really build upon, along with other Roma organizations, how we could be supportive and could coordinate with them. Thank you very much. Now we move to the next speaker. And it is, I hope, if Professor Dr. Mila Dragovic, is she ready?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Sergeva. Because there is National Conservation Day. So in the meantime, I have sent my PowerPoint presentation to Zamir. I hope he received it so that he can share the screen with you while I comment the diapositives. But I can't see Zamir. Did he manage to do it for me? Zamir?
Jamir, are you able to share it?
Yes.
Jamir?
Zamir, okay, we will catch up. So really, it was not my my goal to take your time. On the contrary, so I am very honored to have received your invitation. With all my greetings to all of you from Paris. And I am really very, very honored to have to be among you. And first of all, I am sorry that I cannot remember when Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru came to visit my country of origin, Yugoslavia, because I was just about to be born in 1961. But I remember very well being, as a schoolgirl, having been part of the crowd who welcomed, in her official visit to Belgrade, my hometown, the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and that was an event that one cannot forget. Well, I have to stress that I'm not a Romologist, and I'm not even a Romani speaker, but I am a member of Pledum Research Group in Alco, Paris. I'm a linguist and researcher, and I shared the last 2 years my time and my work with my and your dear colleague Marcel Curtiade. And it happened that the papers that we were working on have been his last publications. And on behalf of Pledum, I have updated his bibliography, and in the PowerPoint I hope Samir will show, I have put a link where you can find the last updated bibliography of Marcel Curtiade. Some 30 pages of publications, and together with Marcelji, we have managed, despite all misadventures, to organize and hold a 2 days international symposium last November. And it happened on the International Romani Language Day, the 5th and the 6th of November last year, for which we have received the support of UNESCO, and we have received support of the DGLFLF, this is Department for Minority Languages of the French Ministry of Culture. Well, the recordings have not been better than what I'm doing in this very moment, so we didn't put the recordings online. But the proceedings are in preparation, and with two very dear colleagues of mine, Jovanka Gaspar from Munich and Professor Frosa Pejoska Bushro from Inalco, we are doing our best to make the proceedings available as soon as possible. So let me hope that it will be done for the 5th of November this year. Inalco is going to organize a tribute to Marcel Curtiade in June, and I hope that at least partly the proceedings will be available at least online. So I would like to announce some of the contents, and I put the excerpts for you to know who did participate to the symposium, if some of you were not present. First, there was a tribute by Marcel Curtiade to Srimati Sushma Swaraj. Then there was a tribute to Rajko Đurić by Professor Tibor Varadi, member of the Serbian Academy for Science and Arts. and the text by Rajko Đurić entitled I Am a Rome, translated by my dear colleague Mireille Robin into French from Serbo-Croatian. And who could have anticipated that we would be asked to make a tribute to Marcel G, who has so suddenly departed and went to join them? Well, we will have in the proceedings the opening speech of Mr. Non Munzrudovic, President of the International Romani Union, to whom I sent at this occasion my sincere congratulations for the 50th anniversary of the Romani Union. And I am proud to come from the same country of origin as three of his predecessors, Mr. Slobodan Berberski, Mr. Said Balic, who met Indira Gandhi, and Mr. Rajko Đurić, who had departed 2 days before our symposium. So in our linguistic section, we will have contributions, among others, of Professor Shashibala. I see that she is between us, and I send her my kindest regards. Those of Professor Jan Hancock, and of course, the contribution of Marcel Coutiade, which is entitled De la graphie intégrative du Romani, bilan et perspective, on the United Romani alphabet, bilan et perspective. It is very sad to have to make the perspectives without him. So this was because we celebrated last year the 30th anniversary of the Unified Romani alphabet, and Marcel was the kingpin of the Language Commission that have prepared its adoption on the Warsaw Congress in the 1990. And I would like to quote Marcel. I hope you will understand, it's in French. Le romani est une langue paradoxale par excellence. Elle relève en France de la charte des langues régionales et minoritaires, alors qu'elle est d'extension européenne et qu'elle a plus de locuteurs que bien des langues majoritaires de l'Union européenne. Elle recèle des archaïsmes remontant au sanskrit, mais elle est toute jeunette lorsqu'il s'agit de son emploi dans la vie moderne. Do you like me to try to translate it in English? Yes?
Yes, please.
The Romani language is a paradoxal language because in France, it is counted into regional and minority languages, whereas it is of European extension, and whereas it has more speakers than quite a bit of majority languages in the European Union. It conceals archaisms mounting to Sanskrit, but it is very young. It's a youngster when some modern usage is concerned. As unfortunately, Marcel G didn't have time to write down this article, I did the transcription from audio recording, and I am more than grateful to Professor Jan Hancock for accepting to proofread it. And one last mention of the contribution in the proceedings, and my diapositive in PowerPoint has the bibliographic reference of an article that we're aiming to reprint. It is called Roms ou Tsigan, Roma or Tsigani. A French translation, Rome ou Tzigane, quelques commentaires sur l'ethnonyme du peuple romani et sa désignation dans les documents internationaux officiels. So, Roma or Tsigani, the ethnonym of Romani people and its designation in international official documents. This is an article written and signed in 1995 by three most eminent academics, Marcel Cutiade, Jan Hancock, and Nicolae Gheorghe from Romania. And considering the academic prominence of the authors and the importance of the issue it is dealing with, I think that it can be considered as one of the founding texts of the scientific field of Romology. So in that way, I hope that the proceedings of our last November symposium will become a reference publication that we are eager to make available for all of you. I thank you for your attention, and I wish to all Roma many more golden anniversaries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mila, for sharing with us details of the very important symposium which was held last year. And we look forward to the proceedings as and when they are ready to be shared or circulated. And we are very sad about the loss of the eminent and academician Dr. Marcel, Professor Marcel. He was a very good friend of India, and his contributions for the Roma culture and language is very well known. So we will really miss him, and we look forward to reading his contributions to those symposiums and in the proceedings. Thank you very much.
Yes, I am very, very sad to say that it has been a week now that I am working on his text, his contribution that I mentioned. And you imagine my emotion when I know that it is his testament in a way, because it has been years and years that he was working on spreading the recognized, unified Romani alphabet. Well, yeah, I see Zamir is back. Did you get my document, Zamir, please?
Yes, but it is, not able to download it from transfer.
All right, I've talked about it. I just wanted to show you that on Marcel's bibliography, we have put a picture with him and Sushma Swaraj, and I will put in the chat the link to Marcel's bibliography on the INALCO page. And the rest, I will keep in touch with Zamir and send him all the links, at least before publishing the proceedings, to make you available.
Thank you very much, Professor Mila.
Thank you.
Now we move to the our keynote speaker, and I can see him over there. So he is a man who has worked for the Roma culture, Roma language, and has connected with Romas for many, many, many decades. And I would say that he will be able to share some of his thoughts of his works. So the man is Dr. Shyam Singh Shashi. So Dr. Shyam Singh Shashi, I welcome you to deliver the keynote address. Thank you very much. You have to unmute. Dr. Shashi, you will have to unmute yourself. Dr. Shashi, you will have to unmute, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you now listening me? Sachdeva ji?
Yes,
Are you listening me? Please. Okay, thank you very much. And I greet with Namaste of Indian way of greeting to all. Yesterday was our New Year's Day, that is Vikrami Sambat 78, I wrote to many of you. I don't know, some of you got or not, but it was a Vikrami Sambat. Vikrami Sambat means our India's New Year's Day. It was yesterday. No? It was yesterday. So I wish you all the New Year's Day also from India. And are you listening, everyone? My friends are sitting with Professor our Orhan, Mr. Orhan is there. No, he left, I think. Orhan is here, and now here it is magazine run by us. This is our Marshal, Mila, Dr. Mila. She spoke about Marshal. He mentioned many names, Rajko Jurij, and some other names. They all know me very well because she must be a young girl those days when I visited and stayed with Mr. Rajko Jurij in Belgrade. Has she left or is she there? Hello? Are you listening me?
Yes, I hear you very well, Mr. Shashi. Yes.
Yeah, if you don't know, I am the oldest here person among all of you perhaps, because the day when I started working on you people, I traveled 75 countries, the whole, and your country, that is Yugoslavia, I met 3 times all the people, particularly this Raj Kajuri and many others. So this is this lady, she is Roma. This is my book, Roma, the Gypsy World. This is the first book in India published on Roma people, anthropological work. Because I'm an anthropologist, of course, I was a Director General in the Government of India, and I published the translation of a book, Bhikku Chamanlal. Bhikku Chamanlal, he word, you spoke about Pandit Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru ji, he sent him to Yugoslavia and he studied the Romani language there because it's very, very akin to Hindi and Sanskrit. You know, we say nak, this is nose. We say nak also in your language. Then similarly Khan. The Khan is in both the language, in Hindi as well as your language, Romani language. Similarly, Bal. This is Bal. This word. Then may khao, may jao. Many words. I have been working on your language for the last many years. Now I'm 40 years. I have been working when I attended the World Conference, International Roma Conference in 1981. I was in Germany, and then I had been there studying the Holocaust. Many problems I studied, and this is the book. And then I compared with Indians. This is also another book of mine. This is the world of nomads. Mrs. Mila, Dr. Mila, and one lady, young lady, I don't know, she also spoke very, very well. A young lady, she left, what is that, Girla something, because the young people do not know me much. You must be younger generation. Now in my country also, the young generation, Jamir, he is my student. You know, he is my student. He learned the Roma literature, Romani language from me. And there is another professor here sitting. He is the vice chancellor of the Capital University. I showed you in the beginning. This is the Capital University here. This is here, Capital University. Now, the only university in the country now teaching Romani language. And he, Professor M.K. Vajpayee, Manoj Kumar. Please raise your hand, Professor Saab. Please say.
Namaste, namaste, namaste.
This is Indian way of greeting. So I think the old people, but he is younger generation. And again, he is teaching many students in, and I have got one organization here, just 1 minute. This is the magazine here. This contains all the Histokuchiko. You know Histokuchiko. He has been to India. I invited him in 2001. That was the program done by me. I was those days I retired from my Government of India service, and then I was wandering here and there, like a nomad, like a gypsy, like a Roma. I traveled many countries of Europe and America. Perhaps many people know here because Marco and he didn't mention about me. Perhaps he might have known anything. And there are many books. This is in Hindi. I am the first person in the country who published this book in Hindi on Roma. This is Roma. This is here. This lady is from Sweden. This is Aleka, perhaps I don't know, these young people. And Dr. Kokonaski, he died. Now this is the Roma book. This is by me here. This is a Roma cultural heritage. Because people didn't know anybody doesn't know about who is Roma. Even now, many people do not understand. No, they think Roma may be the name of some girl. I'm sorry, I should not say this thing, but this is my book. Again, this Emil, Dr. Emil, he released this book. I invited the History Kuchko, and many people came here. There were about, I think, 35 people that met Rome. Our Prime Minister of India those days was Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now Atal Vajpayee is here also. Now the modern Vajpayee is here. He might have not met him, but I met Atal Bihari Vajpayee many a time, and I chaired the many functions, and he released the book of the present Shiksha Education Minister, Mr. Dr. Nishank. He comes to my house quite often. Now I have been making so popular this subject through magazines. Hindustan Times carried a series of my articles, Hindustan Times in English, and in Hindi, Dharam Yug. Now old magazines. Now here it is. Here many books. I will show you afterwards, and I'll show you that this will disconnect. Now this is again a book. This is Roma. This is in India, because I'm talking about the Roma movement, because many have spoken about the Roma culture and something various. I'm very happy to know all these things, what is happening in this country nowadays. The young generation, what they say, I don't know. I am here today, but Corona is eating many things. Corona is here. So I am the oldest person. So I may go first. So that's why I'm talking to you and saying my blessings as the good wishes, best wishes. And our Sajdevaji, the best person to take this tradition further. And my speech with you, Zamir, Anwar. So they are with you here. As Sham Parande, he's a wonderful person. Sham is here, Sham Singh Shashi and Sham Parande. I handed over the entire my literature also to him. Yes, please. Yes.
Dr. Shashi, I would like to thank you of all what you said, and I would like to have for my colleagues and Romani-speaking people here. I think Zamir would be of great help if he transmitted all the bibliographical references of the publications you just mentioned. And my greatest wish today was to, in this celebration moment, recall that the Indian-Yugoslav relations dated, last a bit longer than the independent Croatia, because unfortunately Yugoslavia doesn't exist anymore. But the excellent relations between Yugoslavia and India are originated since 1947 and 55 in the context of the non-aligned countries. It was great events for a small country like ours. I mean, nowadays there's a handful of even smaller countries, too bad. But such important personalities as Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi, who came to Yugoslavia, in each official visit, they went to visit Roma families. I hope Zamir will tell about it in his
Madam,
to our proceedings.
thank you, madam. Here, can you see these photographs? Can you see these photographs?
Not very well, but yes, yes.
Yeah. Now here is one Dr. Kokonaski. He spent a lot of time here in India. He stayed in my house also. Here I was having the contact with Rishiji. Have you heard the name of Dr. Rishi, W.R. Rishi? No.
Yes, yes, I had in my presentation the photo of the Fourth Congress in Warsaw, sitting
Yes.
at the same table, Professor Henkel, Professor Rishi, Rajko Đurić, and Marcel Cutiade. They were the kingpins of this event.
Professor Hancock, we have got a Roma University also, you know, here it is, Roma University. He is the Vice Chancellor of University. And here, Professor Emil, this is, here is Professor, this is the International Roma Union in 2001. 2001, I invited them. Those days it was not with ARSP. ARSP is new with us, and this is because I am the concerned with all these organizations, all our organizations, and Research Foundation there. Research Foundation is the only organization in the country and in Delhi which started teaching Romani to many of our students, like Zamir. Zamir also learned from there and told you that he is my student also. And then, yes, I am triple PhD, madam. I am triple PhD. I have done my DLit in anthropology. I am anthropologist, I am sociologist and linguistic. I have done, and the Marshall Kurthari, he was, I'm sorry we lost him. We lost him, the great scholar.
Great loss.
Yes, and I took him to the Delhi Public Library and organized a lecture here in Delhi. Because in Delhi, I am the only one person who, for the last 40 years, working for the Roma people. Now, my young generation, they have joined, and I hope they will carry on my tradition. They will take and then contact you people, and you also have this good context with us. Okay?
Yes, Dr. Sasi, I hope that your students, as well as Zamir, who should have come to Paris to finish his PhD degree with Marcel Cutiade.
I'm giving him guidance, everything. And see here.
But I hope that they will have the occasion to come to Europe, because at Inalco there is still plenty of documentation and willful people. And of course, Professor Gheorghe Sarau at the University of Bucharest.
We know each other. Yes, we know. Acha, now Professor Vajpayee, he is number 2 here. Here, he has done PhD, double PhD on Roma education, and under my guidance. Now see, 2 persons here are sitting here, and they have done, and now they will continue this chain for future in another university. Now he is the vice chancellor. You know, it's a very big. He is the head of the university. I am the chairman, president of International Roma Cultural University, as well as here we have got number of professors. I've got the highest award in the country. You know, there are people, those who got Padma Award, Padma Shri Award, Padma Shri in 2 literature. I'm the first and the last in my department. I'm sorry, सचदेवा जी, इसलिए बताना पड़ता है इन लोगों को कि क्या कर रहे हैं, आपको बताना चाहिए था ये सब, मुझे नहीं बताना चाहिए था.
Thank you, Dr. Shashi. Thank you.
Here, madam,
Marcel will be glad to know that there is young generation of successors.
Young generation ko pata hona. Now this is the Banjara community. The nomads of India, like you people, they also speak the same language, like Romani language. Aakh, naak, kaan, muh, etc., etc. May jao, may khao. All these words they see. And we have got dictionary also published. Rishiji did lot of work. We should not forget the oldest people, what they have done. They have done lot of work because I'm younger to him. He's no more in this world, W.R. Rishi. But I have a great regard for him, madam. I don't have the, because he made me in charge in Delhi. I was a person concerned who everybody would come, all the, from Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi honored me. Indira Gandhi honored me. Rajiv Gandhi honored me. I will send you some literature, okay? Through Jamil. Okay, I will send you. And but here, this book, this is also my latest book. This is 300, 400 pages. Now the world of nomads. Now here there are many nomadic world people in the world. I've traveled to. Last time I asked in some conference or some webinar about the people in Mexico. I went to Mexico. There is Sun Temple. Sun Temple, Indian culture. You know, Indian culture and the Roma culture here, like this, this, your, yes, Satsara, Kali, or the goddess, the goddess you worship you take to the, you know, I need not tell anything, but here.
Dr. Shashi, may I request you to
शॉर्ट कर रहा हूँ बताना
जल्दी
बहुत
करें
जरूरी है
क्योंकि
भाई इनको
9 से हो गए।
फायदा क्या है नहीं तो क्या फायदा आई सेंट यू दिस इज माय बुक बट दिस इज द बुक a very pious work here. This is Gita. Gita I met when some people in Mexico, the young boys, they had taken the book from India, and I took this book. This is the Bhagavad Gita. This is Lord Krishna. Here is Krishna, and here is Arjuna. So this message of Karam Yoga is the life, you know, the art of living. If you want to know the art of living in Indian culture, I think everyone should have this book. Now there is a book translated by Leksha Manush. You know Leksha Manush? He's from Russia, and I translated his poems in Indian magazines, Indian journals, and he wrote Rama, you know, Valmiki Ramayana.
Yes, we will, excuse me, we will have in our proceedings a contribution from Jean Gamonet, who was talking on the symposium about Lexa Manush's translation of Ramayana into Romani. So we will have it in the proceedings.
But I translated in Hindi. I translated many poems in Hindi. That is what I say. That's why I say.
I know.
And then many poets I translated, Romani poets in Hindi, and I requested all of many young people to contact India.
शशि जी आपका म्यूट हो गया है. You are on mute. Now we can hear you.
Excellency.
But my request is, Professor Shashi, let's wind it up so that we.
मैं शॉर्ट करूंगा. देखो बहुत जरूरी है ये. मुझे तो घंटा चाहिए प्रोग्राम के लिए. अब जिसकी
वो अब घंटा नहीं है हमारे पास, इसलिए मतलब आपसे गुजारिश है.
उनके पास भी नहीं है, किसी के पास भी नहीं होगा, लेकिन मुझे बताना इसलिए जरूरी. फायदा क्या है कॉन्फ्रेंस करने का, ये पता होना चाहिए कि इंडिया में ये रोमा, ये बंजारा, there is a Banjara community in India. You know, Banjara nomadic communities on which I have worked a comparative study of Roma and the Banjara community of India. There are not 500 books I have written, ma'am. 500. Can you imagine? There are so many books here. This is 30 books. Yes. So I'm sorry, I should not say this thing. but this should have told by. So this is all these people last time. Here it is. This do you understand? Do you recognize this face, madam? Yeah, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi.